The silence is the worst part now. Not the screams, not the music. God, never the music, but the absolute crushing silence that follows me everywhere. Most who live through the night of the Piper are gone, taken by time or by their own hand, seeking a final, desperate escape from the echoes. I understand them. I envy them. My name is Daniel, though I haven't heard anyone speak it aloud in decades. What's the point? Names feel tainted now, like they belong to another life, before the blood and the bone. Before the music changed everything. It was autumn 1988. I was a bored teenager, slinging fries at the Greasy Spoon on the edge of Havenwood, Ohio. A one-horse town if ever there was one. My life consisted of wiping down tables, dodging lecherous advances from Mr. Abernathy, and dreaming of escape. Then the carnival arrived. It wasn't like the traveling circuses you see in movies, all bright lights and cheerful music. This was something else. It materialized overnight in the old fairgrounds, a collection of patched-up tents and rusted metal contraptions that looked like they hadn't seen grease in a century. A pall hung over the place, a sense of decay that seeped into the very ground. My friend Marianne practically vibrated with excitement when she burst into the diner. Her usually meticulously styled auburn hair was a mess, and her eyes shone with an unnatural fervor.
Danny, you have to see it. And you have to see it. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. There's this man, a piper, and the music. It's like it crawls right under your skin.
Marianne was the kind of girl who found magic in everything, but even I could tell this was different. There was a manic edge to her enthusiasm that sent a shiver down my spine. I'm working, Marianne. Besides, carnivals are cheesy.
Stanny, just come for a little while. It's important.
Her intensity was unnerving. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw a desperate plea in her eyes. Something was pulling her, something I didn't understand, but I couldn't refuse her. Even. But if I see one clown, I'm out of here. The air crackled with anticipation as we approached the fairgrounds. The closer we got, the louder the music became. It wasn't the jaunty tunes I expected, but a strange, haunting melody played on a pipe crafted from some dark, unknown wood. The notes seemed to twist and writhe in the air, weaving a spell that both captivated and terrified. The crowd was unlike any I'd ever seen in Havenwood. Faces I knew, Mrs. Henderson from the bakery, old Mr. Gable with his perpetually watering eyes, were mixed with strangers, gaunt figures with shadowed eyes and unsettling smiles. They moved with a jerky, unnatural gait, drawn to the music like moths to a flickering flame. In the center of it all stood the piper. He was tall and impossibly thin, his limbs elongated and angular. He wore a tattered coat of mismatched patches, its colors faded and stained with what looked suspiciously like dried blood. His face was hidden behind a porcelain mask, cracked and chipped with empty black holes for eyes. But the worst part was his hands. They were too long, the fingers impossibly slender, and tipped with nails that resembled sharpened claws. As he played, his fingers danced over the pipe with a speed and dexterity that defied human possibility. The music pulsed through the crowd, infecting us all. I felt a strange lightness in my limbs, a compelling urge to move, to dance. Beside me, Marianne was already swaying, her eyes glazed over, a vacant smile plastered on her face.
Welcome to the dance. Why? Tonight, we celebrate release. Tonight, we celebrate freedom.
And then, the dance began. People started moving, at first tentatively, then with increasing abandon. The steps were simple, almost childlike, but the energy was anything but innocent. It was primal, frenzied, a desperate attempt to shed the constraints of reality. I watched in horror as Mrs. Henderson spun in circles, her eyes wide and unseeing, her laughter echoing through the night. Mr. Gable stumbled and fell, but instead of getting up, he continued to writhe on the ground, his body contorting in impossible ways. I tried to pull Marianne away, but her grip was like iron. Her eyes met mine, but there was no recognition, no spark of her former self. She was gone, lost to the music, a puppet dancing to the piper's tune. Fear clawed at my throat. I had to get out, had to escape this nightmare before it consumed me. I pushed my way through the throng, ignoring the vacant stares and unsettling grins of the dancers. As I neared the edge of the crowd, I saw something that made my blood run cold. A figure was being pulled into the center of the dance, struggling and screaming. It was Mr. Abernathy, the owner of the diner, his face contorted in terror. The piper's claw-like hand reached out and grabbed Abernathy's jaw, wrenching it open with sickening force. A dark, viscous fluid gurgled down his chin as the piper forced the pipe between Abernathy's teeth. The music intensified, becoming a cacophony of shrieks and wails. Abernathy's body began to convulse, his limbs flailing wildly. Then, with a sickening crack, his bones started to snap, his body twisting into grotesque shapes. The crowd cheered, their faces alight with perverse joy. By the time the piper released him, Abernathy was nothing more than a mangled, unrecognizable heap of flesh and bone. I vomited, the bile burning my throat. I couldn't stay. I wouldn't stay. I wouldn't stay. I turned and ran, not looking back, not daring to stop. I ran until I reached the edge of town, until my lungs burned and my legs screamed in protest. I collapsed on the side of the road, gasping for breath, the music still echoing in my ears. The sun rose, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, but it brought no comfort. The carnival was gone, vanished without a trace, leaving behind only empty fields and the lingering scent of decay. I went back to Havenwood, but it was no longer the same. The town was emptier. Some people were missing, swallowed by the night of the piper. Others remained, but they were different, their eyes haunted, their smiles brittle. They spoke in hushed tones, avoiding any mention of the carnival, of the dance. Marianne was among the missing. I searched for her, desperate to find some trace of the girl I knew, but she was gone. I can still see her face sometimes, that vacant smile, those empty eyes. I tried to tell people what I saw, what happened that night, but they didn't believe me. They dismissed it as a nightmare, a hallucination brought on by stress. They preferred to believe the lie, to bury the truth deep beneath the surface. But I know what I saw. I know what happened. And the music will never leave me. It plays in my head day and night, a constant reminder of the horror I witnessed. Sometimes, when the wind is right, I can almost hear it, faint and distant, carried on the breeze. The piper is out there, somewhere, still playing his tune, still luring unsuspecting souls to their doom. I pray that he never comes back to Havenwood. But I know deep down that it's only a matter of time. The piper always returns, and Jeza horribles. And when he does, the dance will begin again.